really proud of our guys' defensive effort. You know, I think that's the part of our team's identity that has been inconsistent this year. When we've been our best, we've defended great, and we haven't always had to count on our offense. You know, the score indicates that tonight. We didn't shoot a great percentage. Now, we made threes, right? And made open threes, but, you know, we finally got to the foul line in the second half, which we're great at. But our guys, for 40 minutes, put together a great, you know, I think the first 2 minutes, right, maybe a little bit, we had some lapses defensively, but for the rest of that game, we defended and finished that game and rebounded better than we have all year, maybe outside of our DePaul game at DePaul. And I give so much credit to Tim. When Tim Obo plays the way he played defensively, you know, only takes 4 shots, 4 defensive rebounds, but he is changing the game. 3 blocks, makes the inside-out pass at a crucial time to really help us extend the lead in the second half, doing all the little things for us, setting screens for all these guards while defending. Man, it just changes our team. For a guy like this to be able to get a stance and switch on guards like he did tonight just speaks to what kind of player he is, and these guys all know that. And he might only had 7 points, but the impact he had on this game really was the reason why we were able to have an 18-point win here.
Can you speak a little more to that pass Tim threw to Ryan? Because we were talking on the court on the sideline, like we thought Tim should have shot it, and then he found a really good pass to Ryan for a really great shot.
Tim's heard me enough say, don't shoot that. It was probably in the back of his head, like, I want to. And you gotta give these guys some freedom, right? We talk about it a lot. You know, they're gonna make plays. You gotta get, when you have really good players like we do, you gotta give them the freedom to go make plays. Like he went up aggressively on a couple tonight, which were, hey, you better go score that and be strong with the ball, which he did. He was really efficient in there. So on that one, he made the perfect read, and he drew 2 and was strong with the ball. And again, you know, he's a sophomore in his first half of his sophomore year. I mean, the growth he's going to continue to have if he continues to play like I know he will, like he did tonight, is going to just keep making his team get better.
It can be hard, especially in the era of the portal, for teams to find themselves early. But the Canisius team is pretty amazing. Where does that come from?
It's a great question. It comes from them. It comes from the people they come from. It comes from their character. We were really intentional about building a roster out where we had an ability to play different ways, but with guys with high character that were all in. You know, we talk about an all-in group mentality. You know, the all-in part is you're all in for whatever the team needs. You know, if you're Tim Obo, you defend your butt off. And, you know, you only have 7 points, but you made the biggest impact on the game tonight. And then that's going to come back in twofold. And Ryan Sable has been not shooting at a high level lately, comes in confidently, 24 points, 7% from the line, but 4 assists, 0 turnovers as a junior. And it's all these guys just trusting. And I can't speak enough about this guy, man. Just the level of player he is, to come in here with a humble and hungry attitude. He could easily be like a guy that's like, yo, it's all about me. He went off in the first half and then just made the right plays. And that's just who he is. That's just who we are. We recruited to that. We get to really know guys in terms of the recruitment process. But it's up to them when they get here to decide to do it every day, and they're doing it. And that's why we're having success early. Now, we got to continue to do that and build on it.
What do you remember about the day you found out he was coming?
Man.
We actually just talked about it a few days ago.
Yeah, I'll let him tell you. It's pretty funny, actually.
What do you got? When there was a whole bunch of things that we had to straighten out, but once I finally could, you know, call him and let him know that I was coming, we had kind of pranked an assistant coach that had been, you know, recruiting me through the whole process. So yeah, it's
Jack
something.
Fitzpatrick, our assistant. Yeah,
it's something I still think about, and you know, just super grateful to be here and be trusted to play, you know, anything over 1 minute. So I'm super happy with my decision. So
I told Daniel, hold on a second. I went nuts. Woke my son up at home, woke my wife up, you know, because he called me late. It was late.
Yeah.
And then you know, I think Coach Jack was thinking, is he, you know, I think he's going to do it, right? I'm pretty sure he's right there. And then he called me and said, you know what, let's get Jack. So I let him be on the background. You know, I did over the phone. I said, Jack, what's going on here, man? Like, you said this was going to be done. Like, this kid's ghosting me. He's like, what, Coach? Oh, hold up a second. No. I'm like, yo, hold up. And I said, Daniel, you there? And he's like, yeah. He goes, I'm coming. So we got him good, right? So, but it was a fun moment. But just the joy that all these guys had, you know, Ryan being in his 3rd year, wanting to play with other great players. For Tim to come back and say, I want to do this year too after having a grind out year last year. It speaks to those guys and their character, and they're not sitting here saying it's all about us. They want to do with other guys that are on the same mission, and that's what we have right now.
Ryan and Tim, can y'all speak to be winning so many games this year? This gotta feel good, right? Like how good does it feel to be winning, and what have y'all seen differently? I know the roster has changed, but how cool is this streak, and what has been who has been contributing?
Yeah, I'll start. I mean, me and Coach G have been through, we've battled together the last 2 years, and then we came in this year, and we knew we were gonna stick through this together. And the staff did a great job of recruiting some really good players and some really good guys. And I think the difference this year is a maturity and a sense of togetherness that we talk about all the time. And I mean, just the joy that we have, like no matter who gets the credit, we say, forget the quote, but
It's amazing what we can accomplish. No one cares who gets the credit.
it's amazing what can happen. So we said that before the season, and no one cares who's getting the credit. And it's showing them the lost column, but just take it one game at a time and just keep enjoying the process. It's been awesome.
I mean, I'll say that we always talk about practice, practice makes perfect, but I think as much as it improves, it reflects. And I think that every single day that we grind shows on the court. So everyone that comes in, works, the coaches, players, even the managers, I think it goes to them. So,
Yeah, you could have, I imagine you've gone to a lot of places, and you come to a team that, had 12, 13 wins over 2 years. How did you perceive that? It didn't deter you in any way, that they ended up losing?
Not at all, honestly. I'm glad you asked that. I think, this time around in my recruitment process, I was really trying to find a staff that I, believed in regardless of wins and losses. And, I almost looked at the losses as kind of just like a bonus. Like it was like, they're probably going to be that much more hungry to get back, in the win column. And, the first day I stepped on foot here, or on campus here, it was like, the summer was tough, and it just seemed like we were all really bought in on winning. So I kind of knew, and I kind of got the vibe that, I felt like we could be a special team, and that's, kind of why I decided to come here. I didn't look at it at all as like, man, like I have to do X, Y, and Z to help this team win. I thought, the approach that I got from the coaches in our short, visit, it did everything I needed it to do. And I think the record, I didn't even look at it, honestly. It kind of rolled off my back. I cared more about like the character that I was seeing and really enjoyed it.
And look, money helps. We don't have more money than we want. I want these guys to be taken care of at the highest level possible, because I believe we got something special here. But we had resources for the first time we hadn't had to be able to get guys in this day and age that are going to be able to do what these guys are doing. These guys turned down bigger money to stay here. Now they got taken care of enough but that speaks to their character too. That's just the reality of college basketball today, right? Yeah. And the thing I'll say is that we're going to keep doing is we're going to make sure we remain high character and don't forget who we are and what we're all about in that process. But you could be transformative still with some transaction, but if you're just about transaction and just getting paid and whatnot, you're not going to get better at the level you need to. That's what I told these guys. I told them, like, look, I've coached big-time guards. I coached Jalen Brunson, Colin Gillespie. I've coached guys who are smaller in stature but play bigger than their stature, right? And he knew that, and he fits in perfectly to what we do. And that allows him to do more, ironically, because he's got to do less in certain ways that with more pressure on him and less other guys around him, right? And we just fit this team together. And again, when you have a guy like this that can kind of pull it all together at his size, changing the game, blocking shots, his ability to move his feet defensively, man, you could be really a really dangerous team. And we got to keep doing this. We got to keep doing this.
Daniel, how cool is this game winner? Bucknell, were you going to pass it at all? Take me through that game. How crazy was that game and then the ending reports?
I 100% would have passed it if I saw, if Ryan had been open, I would have passed it to him. I think, I said it in the press conference afterwards, but we practice these things And so we don't have to do anything we've never done before. If we're counting practice, I think we've all probably hit over 4 game winners by now. So when you get put in a situation like that, we've already practiced a harder situation. And another quote that I don't remember, but something about preparing for the most difficult
We
situations.
practice to create habits to be prepared for the most difficult situations.
That, and
I can't take all these. A lot of this is Jay Redism, so, but I was there a long time, and as these guys know, I did 14 years of coach, 15 years of Villanova. They're only going, I'm gonna try to convince them, you only need to do 2 with me, do another, do a 4th, do a 3rd, right? Do a 2nd, right? So that's gonna be my whole recruiting pitch as we get down here, but we got a lot of work to do first.
But yeah, it was a great moment. And you know, honestly, the first thing that went to my mind after the shot went in was the long trip home, not having to be on a loss. I don't want to say I was thinking about it while the ball was in play, but you definitely don't want to get in an airport and all these things after a loss. It feels a lot better to go out on a win. So it felt great.
Ryan, how did you get yourself out of this slump, and how do you feel you were contributing before you were able to shoot as well as you did today?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been shooting great the last few games. I think that the way I've been contributing is handling the ball and trying to make the right play at all times, whether that's shooting the ball or whether that's passing the ball. I mean, Free Tag and Brizzy have had some great scoring games, some great offensive games, and I think that, again, like we say, like, it doesn't matter like who's scoring the most points, whatever it is. And so I've tried to take pride in defending and doing all the other little things, and also just my teammates encouraging me to keep shooting. You know what I mean? Like, I came out of this game, I don't know how many shots I missed in a row, but all my teammates, Tim, Free Tag, everyone on the bench told me, yo, Ryan, keep shooting. And, you know, I made a few shots, but it's just whatever it takes to win. And, just thank my teammates for keeping on encouraging me. And,
I think if you were to come to our practice, you would have noticed he was in a slump. His attitude kind of stays the same no matter what, and we all, you know, give him big kudos for it. You know, he stays consistent every day, and you know, I didn't even notice he was in a quote-unquote slump until you had just said it, because seriously, when your attitude never dips, no matter how well you're shooting or playing, like, you know, no one really cares. You know, we just care that you keep a good attitude, and he does exactly that, so.
He's not going to tell you this because he's humble enough. I've also had him on the other team. He's had to chase consistently playing the minutes he's played, usually the other team's best shooter all around the court and staying to him, sticking to him, and he's done a big time job of that and does it with a great attitude, not worrying about if he's scoring. That's opened up the game for so many other guys. Brizzy last game, Free this game, and now he's on the receiving end of it. I'm just proud of him. He's our captain. He earned that being in year 3 with us. He embodies everything we're about. You know, and it's really cool to see these guys all continue to just keep talking about how they keep wanting to do it together.
Anything else?
Thanks, guys.
thank you guys.